in the farthest reaches of existence, beyond the cold void of Ginnungagap and the misty vale of Niflheim, there blazed a realm of fire and chaos. Muspelheim, the land of eternal flame. From this inferno rose one of the oldest and most fearsome beings in all the 9 realms. Surtr, the Black One, the Fire Giant, the Scorcher of Worlds. Surtr was no ordinary Jotun. He was as ancient as the cosmos itself, a primeval force born in a time before the gods, before even the ordering of the world, wielding a sword that burned with a light more brilliant than the sun. Surtr stood guard at the edge of Muspelheim, watching the borders of existence with smoldering patience. He did not engage in the petty rivalries of giants or meddle in the affairs of gods. His purpose was singular, etched into the bones of time. He would bring about the end, not by malice or hunger, but by destiny. Surtr was destruction incarnate, but not without reason. His fire was not just to burn, it was to cleanse, to renew. The gods of Asgard knew of Surtr. Odin, in his ceaseless quest for knowledge, had sacrificed much to peer into the ruins and visions of the future. What he saw chilled even his battle-hardened heart. The fire giant standing tall at the twilight of the world, his sword setting the heavens ablaze. For many ages, Surtr remained in Muspelheim, his presence a looming spectre in the prophecies of Ragnarok. While the gods built, fought, and ruled, Surtr waited, his sword a burning brand forged in primordial fire, was said to be so hot that it would split the sky when drawn in full wrath. As all the other Jotnar feared him, the gods prepared for him, and yet Surtr did not act. Not yet. As the age of gods waned and the world became more fractured, the signs began to manifest. Fimbulwinter came, 3 long, bitter winters without respite. Brothers turned on brothers, and the bonds that held the realms together began to fray. Fenrir, the giant wolf, grew restless in his bindings. Jörmungandr stirred beneath the sea, and Loki plotted from his prison. And still, Surtr did not rise, but his sword glowed brighter beneath its sheath. The flames of Muspelheim roared higher, hungrier. The fire giant stood ready, his eyes like molten coals beneath the dark sky, awaiting the horn that would signal the end. And it would come, sooner than expected. When Heimdall's horn sounded across Yggdrasil, Surtr would stride forth, not as a warrior of vengeance, but as the inevitable force of cleansing fire. When Heimdall finally sounded Gjallarhorn, its echo reached all corners of the 9 realms. Asgard trembled, Midgard darkened, and even Hell stirred with unease. But in Muspelheim, it was a signal long awaited. Surtr, ancient and terrible, lifted his burning gaze skyward. The time had come. He drew his sword, and it blazed like a newborn star, brighter than any fire known to man or god. With a voice like a volcano erupting, Surtr called to the sons of Muspel, giants born of flame, chaos, and fury. They followed him as he tore open the gates between realms and marched towards the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge that linked Midgard and Asgard. The Bifrost shattered under the weight of his army's fury, a cascade of prismatic light falling into oblivion. Heimdall and the gods met them in battle, their shields gleaming and their weapons raised, but against Surtr, all resistance was futile. He was the firestorm that could not be stopped. In the fields of Vigrid, the armies of gods and giants clashed in the apocalyptic war, foretold in prophecy. Odin faced Fenrir and fell to the Great Wolf. Thor battled Jörmungandr and triumphed, only to stumble 9 steps before dying from the serpent's poison. And Loki dueled Heimdall, with both perishing in the struggle. And then came Surtr. Wading through the chaos, he faced Frey, the Vanir god of fertility and prosperity. Frey, once radiant and peaceful, had given away his magical sword long ago for love. Weaponless, he fought valiantly, but even a god could not stand against Surtr's inferno. With one sweep of his flaming blade, Frey fell. The sky blackened as Surtr lifted his sword high. He did not speak. There was no declaration, only fire. He struck, and the heavens split. The world tree Yggdrasil trembled and groaned as flames consumed the branches that connected all life. Mountains cracked, oceans boiled, and the 9 realms began to crumble. Surtr's fire surged across creation, not out of rage or hatred, but because the time had come. It was the burning away of the old to make space for the new. And then silence. When the fires receded, the world as it had been was no more. The gods lay fallen, the land was scorched, the sky was dark. But from the ashes life began to stir once more. 2 human survivors, Leif and Leifbrasir, emerged from the forests, hiding away during the chaos. They would become the seeds of new humanity. A few gods, Baldur, Hodor, and others returned from death, walking into the world reborn. Surtr himself was gone, consumed by the fire he wielded. He was not meant to reign over a new world, only to unmake the old one. His was a role fulfilled, written in the bones of fate. To this day, when fire rages across forests or volcanoes erupt from the depth of the earth, some say it's an echo of Surtr's flame. He was the beginning of the end, and the end of the beginning.